Hi, everybody. I am creating this screencast right now to kind of do something neat and a little different than I normally do with my training. This is a way that I am going to show you kind of my process when it comes to creating a graphic or thinking about advertising or thinking about promoting to a target market or a target audience. A lot of people, um, they like watching the videos that we talk about things, and or some of them like reading the PDFs or the posts that we make. But I thought some of you might like to see how the process works when we do certain things. And the fact of the matter is we're all creatives in some way, shape, or form. And the way I go about things may not be very traditional. I'm kind of messy and crazy when it comes to things I do as well. I don't exactly follow a straight line. Sometimes it takes me um, a crazy path to get to where I'm trying to get. So I thought maybe I would walk you through kind of like a project here. So if you remember, we did the graphic promotion last month, and this month is social media, and we're supposed to be sharing our graphics across social media. The problem is a lot of you feel stumped, like you know what you're supposed to put on the graphic, and you kind of have some ideas on when to post and when to schedule it, and maybe what type of sale to have or what kind of discounts work. We covered all that. But when it comes to actually creating a graphic, even though there are tools like Canva, PicMonkey, Photoshop, things that can help us create graphics, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're a designer. So I thought that I would go through what I do when I create a graphic, maybe what I'm thinking while I'm doing it, thoughts that I have. I figured if I could do it and kind of talk through what goes on in my mind while I'm doing it, it might help. So one of your very, very kind and fellow flourishers, her name is Anne, and she owns Chance Vintage. Um, it's a jewelry. She sells basically vintage jewelry and accessories. She Facebooked me, and she sent me a graphic that she had been working on, and she basically was like, "Is this good? Is this cool? Is this okay?" Uh, and I just kind of want to walk you through the process that I have gone back and forth with her on. So let me show you this graphic here. Ah, ah. Oh boy, hang on a minute. There we go. Okay. So this is the graphic that she sent me, and she sent me this in a Facebook message, and she said, "Hey Sarah, basically, what do you think about this?" Now, actually, prior to this, she had sent me another graphic, and I had told her I was confused by it and gave her some advice. She came back, and this is what she had. So we're going to work from this forward. So first of all, my first, and please, I want to send a warm thanks to Anne, because I'm going to pick on her. And she said she has thick skin. So she's taken one for the team in order to go through this process. So this is what she sent me. Now, this is a horrible graphic. It's horrible. There's nothing good about this graphic at all. Of course, I didn't tell her that. Now, she'll hear it when she watches this. I like to be blunt and to the point, but I don't want to hurt feelings. But honestly, this is nothing on this graphic is good. Um, and I realized that even though I may think that, because I have years of design experience, perhaps you guys don't have that, and you may not see that. And so Anne's talent is to go out and source amazing pieces, vintage pieces of jewelry. That's her talent. That's what she's good at. I love thrifting, and I love going to antique stores, but when I look in the case, it all looks the same to me. I don't know what one is better than the other. I don't know if one is costume or if this has real stones. I mean, I'm just not knowledgeable, but she is. So that's her talent. Necessarily creating graphics to promote on social media is obviously not a strong suit of hers. But she's trying. She listened and she watched the presentations and she gave it a go. And in that aspect, I applaud her. But will this graphic grab the attention of her target market? So you might say, well, I'm not real sure who her target market is, and that's fine. Knowing that she sells vintage jewelry, you want to think, who would buy vintage jewelry? You know, what is their age? Again, ask those questions. Where do they shop? What do they look like? What do they wear? What does their home look like? Etc. and so forth. Okay, so if I was Anne and I was creating, that's what I would want to think about. Now, let's see here. Okay, so first of all, let's talk about the graphic. All right, this is supposed to be a window. Okay, so this is supposed to look like there's perhaps a table or a counter up against a window. We got a computer here, coffee cup, scarf, glasses. And the main point of the graphic is my kind of window shopping. Now, shopping is spelled wrong, so that in itself, there's a graphical error, or a spelling error there. But put that aside, my kind of window shopping. So she has this great line, right? This great slogan, this great, they call it something, and I can't think of what they call it, but it grabs your attention. And it's funny, you know, my kind of window shopping. And that is my kind of window shopping. You know, you're on your computer, sitting on the couch, you're all cozy, or drinking a cup of coffee, and doing your shopping right from home. So the idea of the graphic is good. The idea is good. And she tried to put it together. You know, well, I need a picture of a window. I need a picture of this, of a computer. Her color is purple. Her logo color is purple. So that's where the purple comes in. She put, you know, vintage and jewelry accessories, which is what she sells. Shop small and sustainable. Save 30% Black Friday through Cyber Monday. And her website. So I look at this and first I think the graphic itself isn't good. I understand what she was going for. I understand the feeling that she was trying to create, and that she was trying to find something that fits in with the my kind of window shopping. But people aren't going to study your graphic. They're not going to look at it and really study it like I'm doing right now. They're going to see it for a second. It's going to grab them or it's not. Looking at that, you don't know that that's a window right off the bat. It's because of the wintry trees outside that are snowy. You can't tell that's a window. It kind of looks like a bunch of gray and white just stuff. So that doesn't really immediately give me a feel that that's a window. It's gray, black and white, basically. I mean, if you look at this stuff down here, there's no color to it. It's very dull. When you think of black and white, you think cold, you think dull, you think drab, pale, pasty. Those are kind of the feelings that go along with those types of coloring on images. Not that black and white photos aren't beautiful and black and white photos can't be beautiful, but this particular graphic in this particular color scheme, it does not give me, I want to stay inside by the fire and stay nice and warm and toasty and do my window shopping or my online shopping. So the graphic in itself is bad, right off the bat. The font is not a great font. I'm not sure if this is her business font. In other words, because this is her logo down here. So it's very possible that this is the font she uses for her business. But again, you know, if I look at that font, I think of a magic shop. I think of witches and wizards. I think of maybe a store that sells incense, or a metaphysical shop, or a psychic shop. And although that might be stuff Anne's into, it might not be. I am. I like that kind of stuff. But I don't really I don't really connect that with vintage jewelry. So, you know, my kind of window shopping and in that font, vintage jewelry and accessories, I'm not getting the connection there. There's no connection really to anything in this graphic. Shop small and sustainable. That's great. That's a great message. You want to have that, but that's not really the purpose for this graphic. The graphic, what is the purpose for this graphic that you see? It's the save 30%. And that is the smallest thing that she has on her graphic. That you want to shout that out. Save 30%. Why? Black Friday through Cyber Monday. Now, that's, you have to think, what's the point of this, of the graphic? What is truly the point? Why is she making it in the first place? Because she's trying to advertise her sale, right? She's trying to advertise that she's going to have 30% off at her shop during the holidays. Okay, that's the purpose. So this isn't a logo that she's making that she's going to attach to her store. This is not a photo that she's going to add into her photos. This is simply a holiday promotional graphic. Okay, that's the point. So we need to grab attention of her target market. We need to let them know really quickly and easily what they can expect to get, which is 30% off, and where they can find it. All right, so some of this information does not need to be on this graphic, which would be this shop small and sustainable. If she wanted to put it on here, she could do perhaps a little shop small at the bottom of a graphic, not this one obviously, but we'll talk about that later. This is another reason why it's really important for you to have your own URL, because saying your www.shopname.etsy.com is a lot better than saying www.etsy.com/shop/your shop name. However, wouldn't it look a lot more nicer and more professional if it said www.yourshopname.com? If you do not have a website, that's okay. It can redirect to your Etsy shop, but now right now she's advertising Etsy. And there are many other vintage jewelry sellers. So it's really best to have your own URL on all your graphic and promotional and marketing materials. Okay, so we're going to put this guy back for just a minute. All right, so after after she showed me that graphic and said, you know, is this okay? I created this graphic. Okay, so now again, remember we're talking about the holidays here. This is a Black Friday through Cyber Monday sale. All right, my kind of window shopping. Believe it or not, when you're saying my kind of window shopping, you actually do not need to put a window in the picture, even though you kind of, you know, you want the two to tie together. The fact of the matter is, you're wanting to say you need to shop online. So this is a graphic of a woman. She's shopping online. If you want to tie the windows in there, she could be doing it on a Windows computer or using Windows to do her shopping. It still works. It still flows well. It's still very funny. So I went on to Canva, and what I did is actually before I went to Canva, I went to Fotolio, which let me see if I can bring that up for you. Fotolio, or Fotolia, sorry. Danny Marie actually had suggested this site to me, and I love it. It's amazing. I do have an account. It does have a monthly charge. I'm not exactly sure what it is. You can also pay as you go here. So, you know, I'm not trying to get you to spend more money. I'm sure there's a lot of sites that you can get free images. I just like to get really good, well done images. So I, you know, go on here and I search online shopping, online holiday shopping, let's say. Search, it's going to bring up a bunch of images. These images are obviously all in line with shopping online, depending on the type of feeling that you're going for. Sorry. Depending on the type of feeling that you're going for and what message and what promotion you want to do would depend on obviously which one you choose. So I grabbed one from here that I liked, and and use that. But I just wanted to show you. I'm going to reduce that. So this is one that I found. It's an image of the Christmas tree with the presents. A lady, she's looking online. She has some jewelry here. So my kind of window shopping. 30% off, real big and bold. Black Friday through Cyber Monday, all vintage jewelry and accessories, and where they can go to find her. So this to me is a good, solid holiday ad, a good, solid promotion. It ties in the holidays. It ties in going shopping online. The lady has a smile on her face. She's a pretty woman that gives you the feeling of joy that she's enjoying shopping online. She sees something she likes. These are all good feelings to have. I'm also letting you know, hey, this is an awesome deal. 30% off, real big, so you know it's easy. It's easy to understand. It's not anything complicated. You don't have to do a bunch of steps. When is it? Black Friday through Cyber Monday. That's simple enough. All vintage jewelry and accessories, and this is where you go. Perfect graphic, okay? I also made another one, and this one was a different direction. I made this one because, and I don't normally do this. I don't want a bunch of people like mailing me graphics. I don't normally do this. When I feel that somebody is struggling with a particular area, and I have time in my day, which is rare, but when that happens and coincides like a perfect storm, she happens to message me at the exact time that I have, a few minutes to help. I will offer my help, and I do that to many, many, many members. I can't always, and there's sometimes when I can't even answer my messages. I just want to put a disclaimer there that I don't normally do this kind of thing, but if I have the time and I see someone struggling, I want to be able to help them. So this is why I did this. So I went ahead and created another graphic. Now this one isn't necessarily my favorite, but I wanted to do one with a window, just because in case she was really tied to that idea of wanting to have the my kind of window shopping and then a window. So again, I found a graphic. This is more of a mock-up. This is also on Fotolia, and it has the window here. It still gives the Christmas feeling. I went ahead and put pretty much the exact same information. It had a laptop right here. I did a screenshot of her logo, put it here on the computer, and then added in her URL here. Okay, so this is giving her two kind of different ways to go about it. You could go with the emotional, cozy, holiday shopping online feeling, or you could go with the more commercial kind of mock-up sale ad that you see, normally in magazines and ads and things. Okay, so then what I want to show you is I want to show you the conversation that we had after that. So here we go. Okay, so actually before this, and I should have got a longer screenshot, she said after I gave her those graphics, I thought she was going to be like, oh my God, these are awesome. But she didn't. She was like, okay, thanks. That's literally what she said was, okay, dot, thanks, dot. So I responded, not a fan. Like, not a fan, question mark, question mark. Like, you didn't really like them, not a fan? And then this is our conversation after. She said, those seem so canned. Not like what I think my market looks like. I'll be honest in that I may have my market wrong. This is really hard. And I said, it is, but you're doing great. And the reason why is because she's working through this process, right? She is starting to realize I'm not so great at this, and I'm not hitting the nail on the head here. And this isn't what I think my market is. And then, oh, well, maybe I don't know who my market is. These are processes and journeys that you all have to walk through. You all have to, I cannot tell you. You cannot say, Lara Noel, Lisa Mitchell, Sarah Sewell, who's my target market? This is what I do. This is my shop. This is my link. Look at it and tell me who my target market is. We can't do that. We can't do that because it's so, and I don't mean to take anything from Lara or Lisa or Mitch who do target market stuff. We can help guide you through the process, but ultimately you need to learn it. You need to see it. You need to feel it. You need to create that Pinterest board and fill it with colors and and imagery of who you think your target market is. Because until you get it fully, until you feel it and know on a personal level who that target market is, all of your efforts, marketing, promoting, building your site, your graphics, all of that will be kind of like you're treading water, or you're spinning your wheels and you're not really going far. So I said those are canned. Those are good, solid holiday ads that you would see out there today. They work, okay? But I can make them more specific to your target market. Tell me who that is. She says my market is 35 to 65 who appreciate quality jewelry and understand a sustainable and eco-friendly closet. At least that's who I want my market to be. So we know that Anne is at a point, right? She's at a point where she's like, this is who I want my market to be, but maybe they're not. Or maybe they are, but they're also expanded into something else. So to me, when she says a market 35 to 65 who appreciate quality jewelry and understand a sustainable and eco-friendly closet, I think of Chico's. I think, and I don't know if Chico's is eco-friendly, but I think of Chico's. When I think of a more mature target market who appreciates quality, and I think of Chico's. I think of my mom. My mom's 63, I think. She's very, very much eco-friendly. She recycles and she gardens and she uses rainwater and all that stuff. And she loves Chico. She loves quality. She's not into a bunch of things. She's into quality over quantity. And so one of her favorite stores is Chico's to shop from. So when she's telling me that, that's who I'm thinking of. Okay. So this whole process of her describing who she thinks her target market is or who she wants it to be is so big in the process, because this is what it's taking her to go through to learn. Okay, so let me close this up. So then I'm thinking, this one that I had, which is my favorite, is a really good graphic to have. Does this woman look a little old, maybe? I mean, a little young to shop at Chico's? Maybe she's younger. Anne mentioned that she liked the sustainable and eco-friendly. Well, then what kind of feeling will that give? What kind of imagery should I put in there to get that across? So those are things that you need to think as you're building your graphic. Now, again, I think she might be putting too much thought into it. It's a holiday graphic. You want to quickly, as people are scrolling through their phones or on their computers, you want to grab their attention. All right, but it does need to be attractive to your target audience, because if it's not, it's not going to appeal to them. So I thought about perhaps doing another graphic, maybe having a more mature woman, instead of her laying on the floor, maybe have her sitting on the couch. So we go back to Fotolia. So as we're looking here, what then would perhaps be a better graphic to use for who Anne says her target audience is? Okay, so I'm kind of walking you through what I think. I'm looking, saying, I see these great pictures, and I'm like, no, none of them really are good to me. This is cute, but again, a younger couple, and it's a couple. I mean, her target audience isn't a man. Again, too young here. This might work for her, but again, she's pretty young. I'm 40, so maybe I'm not a good person. This is a great one here. Same woman. I'm afraid to go to an older looking person, like with white hair or gray hair. Not that might not be in her target audience, but then would that turn off those that are 50 and younger, or 45 and younger, thinking, oh, this must be for older people? You need to have kind of a balance. This is nice here. Here's a window. Here's the computer. The gift makes it more of a holiday. There's a coffee. The hands look aged a little bit. So perhaps this would be a great item, a great graphic to promote shopping online, to promote the holidays, and it adds in the windows and the window shopping. So I kind of want to show you really quick, and let me see, I can't see on my thing. We're going to go to Canva. This is Canva, okay? Canva, canva.com. I know many of you are very familiar with Canva. Some of you, maybe not so much, or maybe you haven't heard of it at all. I have the business version of Canva, which is like $4 a month. It's not expensive at all. But I'm allowed to have my branding, like my colors and my fonts and stuff like that. But let me show you how cool Canva is. And how do I go to the... Let me see here. Oh boy, that's not where I want to go. Well, let me just show you this, just so I can show you a variety. In Canva, you can choose. Look at this. They already have pre-measured templates in Canva. So let's say you want to make a Facebook post. You can click Facebook post. Let's say you need to do an Etsy cover photo. You can use that, or a Facebook cover photo, Instagram post, Tumblr, Pinterest graphic. Let's say you want to do an ebook, or you want to do some kind of poster, business card. Social media, all this stuff is what Canva provides. That's really, truly an awesome site. I know my graphic designers and Photoshop users are going to be like, ah! But for those of you that don't know what you're doing, and I'm talking to you, I'm not really talking to people that know what they're doing. I'm talking about the people that are struggling with design. Of course, hire a graphic designer if you can, and that's where you're at in your business, and you realize the importance of paying someone who is strong in a certain area to do something for you. Absolutely do that first. But if you're not ready for that and you want to learn it, or you have to learn it, then absolutely Canva is the place to go. So like you would click on Facebook post, it's going to bring up the template, which is the perfect sizing for Facebook. Okay, now if you look to the left here, they already have a bunch of pre-made designs. And I know a lot of you have seen these. A lot of people use them on Facebook. So you can kind of scroll through here. And if you wanted to do a regular Christmas graphic, grab something like this. And what's cool about Canva is when you have something like this, you can change everything that you see. So let's say gift hunting. Oh boy. Let's say I want to change that font. I can go over here. It has all of these fonts that you can change. Super easy. I already have mine, my business font that I use for the Joyful Entrepreneur and Flourish in here. As you can see, it went all caps. Well, that font may only be available in all caps. No, it's not. I don't know why it's doing that. There we go. Okay. Not really. I think it's not really doing a good deal here. Let me try a different graphic. I don't know why that's doing that. Okay, let's try something else. So you have a Christmas graphic, and you can change. See, so you highlight the word, you can change the font, you can change the size, you can change the color, you can deal with the spacing a little different, you can make it transparent or not. This is very user-friendly. You can, let's say you don't like this at all and you want to remove it. Let's say that you don't want this banner this high. You can move it up to where you only see that much of the banner, or you can take it and just delete it altogether. You can move this up, you can move this over. This is how easy Canva is to use. It's literally drag and drop. Okay, and you see the purple lines on the page? See that centered? When I move it, it changes. So you have all of these guides to use. Now, we are going to, because remember we were talking about Anne and her graphic. So let's go ahead and Just delete all this quick. All right. You can actually go to uploads over here. I don't know if you can see it. Let me move it over a little bit. Uploads. And you can upload your own images. Okay, so you can upload the images that you want to use or that you like. Let's say I like this one. This one I used for my holiday gift guide post. You can make it bigger. Hi, I'm moving. Moving up here. Hello. Make it bigger. See? You can size it to the template that you're using. Let me move this back down here. You can add text. So go to text. They give you a lot of examples here that you can use. You also can add your own. So again, and I want it centered. There we go. And then look, I can change it. So say gift. Oh boy. Give the gift of handmade. Did I spell that right? This holiday season. Okay, so, and I think it's kind of going wonky. It's like delayed, and I think that's because I'm doing the screencast over top of it. Usually it's a lot faster. So I'm going to go ahead and go with my uploaded font because I have the business and that's my branding's font. Let's say I don't want black, I want a different color. I'm going to use purple. There you go. Give the gift of handmade this holiday season. And then I could add in, let's say, I want to add in, I'm just using for an example, this. Say I'm going to say 25% off. Resize that down to that. All Christmas cards, let's say. Change that font. All right, this would have to be bigger because of the way that it's made. But this just shows you an example of something that you can use. Now you wouldn't want to do this unless you had maybe an opaque square on the back because you couldn't read this. So let's say you needed to add a square, you needed to add something that you could, so we're going to do that. Let's turn that into white and let's make it transparent. See? So, and we're going to move it back. Boom. So now your text is on top of that. Let's put this text forward. All right. So I'm just showing you an example of how you can create a graphic on your own through Canva. How, like Anne, if I would have, let me delete this as I go. Let's say that I found that the picture that I wanted to use for her showing the maybe a more mature woman, maybe somebody with jewelry sitting on a couch versus on the floor. And I got the photo, I bought the photo. I have a membership, so I get so many per month or whatever anyway. Upload it to here, and this is basically how you would create then your graphic. This is how I created the graphic that you saw earlier. And then I added in the square here. I made it white. I made it smaller. Wider. And transparent. Just enough so that I could put text on top with her and I'm going to open it, as you can see here, with the text. So I just kind of wanted to walk you through. I'm going to keep working on Anne's just because she didn't feel wowed by it. So I'm going to keep working on, see if I can find something that's just a little bit more in her brand, towards her brand, towards her target market, that she'll like a little better. But I wanted to walk you kind of through the process of what it takes and what you have to think about when creating a holiday graphic or promotion. It's something that you can do in minutes, believe it or not, with programs like this, like Canva, that you need very little design knowledge at all, and you can play around with it. You know, somebody posted, and I think it might have been Amanda Johnson. I don't know. I'm sorry if I get that wrong. But in the club, one of our graphic designers had posted a graphic and an article on fonts that go well together. A lot of the problems I see with some of your graphics and some of your promotions is the fonts just look very messy. They don't look professional. They look elementary. They don't have a nice solid presence to them. So you want to have a nice big font and then something that accents that. So if you use kind of a script font up top, then you need to use a narrow block font below. If you use a bold fat font, then you want to use again a more narrow thin font below. So you want to make sure that your fonts accent each other well when you're doing your graphics and when you're listing out the text on your graphic as well. So I hope this helped. I know that I was a little bit all over the place, but I just wanted to kind of show you the process that goes into trying to find something that will work for your brand and for your target audience, and kind of how you need to think about that when creating your promotions. So thanks so much for sticking with me, and thank you to Anne for being a trooper through all of this. I will be continuing on this journey to find the right graphic, one that's a little bit better. In the meantime, of course, you can use the ones that I sent you already, and we will see how it works out for you. I'm sure you'll get a lot of interaction on either. So thanks so much, you guys, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.